So as soon as I first met the patient, I hear this big bark out on the porch, and he put the dog up. So kind of when people put the dog up, you kind of think maybe the pet's maybe aggressive or something like that. But it turned out Archie was absolutely the sweetest dog. He'll walk right up to you if you give him a treat. The patient told us if you give him a treat, then he just becomes your favorite person.
Megan Heck, one of our social workers, came to me with a request to talk about a patient whose dog needed to go to the vet. We just needed to provide him with updated vaccines because the patient was under threat of being evicted from his home. So we went ahead and I made an appointment with the vet to have the dog examined, got his vaccines updated, took care of all of that, and that's kind of how I started with the whole thing.
But as soon as we see dogs, that's any of us, the nurses, the social workers, instantly we think, okay, who's going to take care of this dog once our patient dies? So we start thinking first family, of course, people that the dog would like, already know, feel comfortable with. When it comes to this patient, he didn't have anyone who could take the dog in. So we started thinking from there, the Pet Peace of Mind program.
Pet Peace of Mind is designed to help our patients' pets. We provide annual vaccines if needed, pet food. We can have volunteers help walk dogs or clean kitty litter. There are several things we can do. We can have volunteers transport the pets to the vet. And as a last resort, if the patient has no other options and can't find another home for their pet, they can sign them over to Pet Peace of Mind, and we promise to find them a new forever home. And that's what happened with Archie. The patient did not have any local family. He was pretty much on his own. So we took Archie in and we boarded him until, he's still in boarding. We will board him until we can find a new forever home for him.
I started working with the patient, really just trying to help him control his pain. That was the major thing going on with him. It was very clear to me early on how important Archie was, his dog, and his care. Archie always greeted us at the door, and I always had a snack or a treat ready for Archie, and he provided a lot of comfort to the patient. Beyond really what any of the medications that we gave, they were certainly helpful for the patient because he was suffering from a great deal of pain, but really having Archie as his companion was really important to him.
When I discovered that the patient had been moved to a hotel until they could get him either inpatient or in a long-term care facility, I was asked if I could go pick up the patient's pet, whose name was Archie, and take Archie to a boarding facility until the patient could get situated in his new location. I picked Archie up from the hotel and then drove him over to the boarding facility, and was under the impression that the patient would be going to a long-term care facility, and in the meantime we would make arrangements for a volunteer to take the dog to visit him whenever he was available.
After he became displaced, Megan found him in a long-term care hotel, or a long-term stay hotel on the south side. We were able to get him over to Hadlow and get him comfortable and in better care. And then once he was situated in a long-term care, Megan and I visited him, and he was unable at that point to speak to us verbally, but when we did ask him about the dog, he indicated that he was concerned about the dog by blinking at us. So we worked with Chris and arranged a visit with Archie and the patient at the facility, and he died shortly thereafter, that same very day. And I think it was important for him to have that final moment with Archie.
It fills me with so much joy just to know that I was able to find the resources to be able to help this patient, to make sure that he got exactly what he needed, which was a shelter over his head. In my opinion, would be a shelter over his head, but for him was to make sure that the love of his life, his dog, was cared for. Dogs become children to us, and it was just very important. So the fact that at some of his last moments, he was able to place his hand over Archie's and get that sense of comfort that he got exactly what he needed, and later on, is going to get adopted and cared for and just taken care of, was just really fills my heart, in that he kind of just trusted me enough to find him those resources and to get him the things that he needed. Because over that time, I got to know him in such a different level. Each time I got a little bit deeper with him and found out more things about him, and honestly learned so much from him, just about kind of going with the flow and just letting things be as they are and figuring it out from there.